Tonight on Tasty Treats with Teachers, I talk to Mr. Widmark, we travel the multiverse together, and the universe rates my cupcakes.
Hello and welcome to Top Gear. Instead, it's not Top Gear, it's Tasty Treats with Teachers. And we're not driving cool cars, we're interviewing teachers. Now, my name is Ethan Fay, and speaking of high-powered rocketry exploding cars, Mr. Widmark.
That's me.
Hello.
Hello.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, how you doing?
It's doing pretty good.
Alright.
Alright. Let's jump into the interview. Mr. Widmark, who are you?
Well, I'm many things. I'm an AP physics teacher. I'm an artist. I'm a flyer. I like to tinker around, so I guess I'm a tinkerer. And I guess that's it.
Alright, cool. Mr. Widmark, for those of you that don't know, what do you teach?
I teach AP Physics C and I teach AP Physics 1.
Is that all you've ever taught?
No, I've pretty much taught the gamut of physical science in my career. At the various schools I've taught at, I've taught earth science, I've taught basic physical science, I've taught chemistry, I even taught a little bit of physiology one time. And so yeah, pretty much the gamut of physical science.
And how long have you been teaching in Mountain View or in general?
I've been teaching in Mountain View since 1994. I took a year off to go teach in Monterey. And before teaching in Mountain View, I taught at a little school in the Central Valley, Selma High School, and I also taught at Pacific Grove High School.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for your service. You served in the Air Force, is that right? Can you tell us about your time in the Air Force?
Yeah, I went to school at Berkeley. I got a degree in physics, and then I was kind of tired of academia, so I thought I'd like to try something different. And so I was probably the first person in my family to ever join the military, and I joined the Air Force. Ended up flying right seat in an F-111 for 6 years, and I was stationed over in England and an air base near Oxford. And so I lived in Oxford, had an apartment there. And I flew these F-111s all over the European theater.
What's it like?
It's satisfying. You might think that it's all about how exciting everything is, but that wears off pretty quickly. What lasts is sort of the satisfaction of doing a job properly, and you can get that kind of satisfaction doing anything. I just happened to get that satisfaction flying, supersonic fighter bombers.
Yeah, okay. That's
yeah,
really cool.
but ultimately it was the satisfaction of doing the job properly that probably was the most interesting part of it.
Do you find satisfaction in teaching high school?
Oh yeah, sure. I find satisfaction in doing anything. I like teaching high school. I mean, if I'd be completely frank about it. What drove me to teaching high school while I left the Air Force to do this is I was having these insane hours over in my Air Force job where I would fly a 4 or 5 hour mission, and then I would have to do 8 hours worth of a desk job, and it was just burning me out. And I thought, I'd like a job where I get some time off to indulge some of my other interests. And my sister and my brother-in-law were both high school teachers, and I was sitting in my office one time on a Sunday in the Air Force and thinking, my sister and my brother-in-law are out playing golf right now because it was the summer. I thought, that sounds pretty good. So what initially drove me to teaching was I get some time off in the summers and whatever to do other things, and I grew to love it. So it kind of worked out. I get time off to do things, and I like my job. So there you go.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
When you say what drove you to teaching was time off.
Yeah. I mean, I could be honest. Yeah, that was pretty much it initially. Yeah.
What drove you to physics, especially?
Well, my degree was in physics. That's what I knew about, and I like physics. I wouldn't have gotten my degree in it if I didn't like it. So initially, I only taught couple of sections of physics back in Selma, because in those days not everyone took physics. These days a lot more students take physics, and in this school we have tons of sections of physics. But in those days it was kind of an exclusive thing, and so I mostly taught other sciences in the beginning. But as time went on, I ended up teaching more and more physics sections, and now I'm teaching 100% physics. So
That's really interesting.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to read this out. You have a level 2 Tripoli certification in high-powered rocketry.
Yes.
First off, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Second of all, what does that mean? Like layman's terms.
Sure.
Please.
Maybe some of you are familiar with little Estes rockets. You buy them in the, little. In fact, we're going to be flying these little rockets in the AP Physics 1 class. But if you want to fly something that's got a little bit more power to it, you have to get a certification, because nobody's going to sell you the rocket fuel to buy something a little more powerful than a little Estes rocket. So there's a certification process where you kind of figure out a club in the area, and there's a couple clubs in the area that you can kind of latch on to. And you have to build a bigger rocket. In fact, maybe you can get a shot of it later, but hanging up from the unistrut there is the rocket that I use to get both my level 1 and level 2 certification. And then, of course, that enables me to fly the really big rocket, which is the orange rocket over there. We've been trying to develop a rocket that would fly a sort of a 0G trajectory. And it turns out in order to do that, you can't just launch a rocket up and just have it kind of fly around, because the air drag is going to change its trajectory, and it won't be in a 0G trajectory. So you got to have those electric ducted fans on the side that kind of make up for the air drag, and then you can get it to fly something that's close to a 0G parabola. And then we can put experiments in it to investigate the properties of 0G, which is the purpose of that big rocket. And that was really why I got all these certifications, was that I could do that project.
That is, if that is not advertisement to join AP Physics, I don't know what is. You get to fly rockets.
Yeah, well, COVID kind of put a kibosh on that for a while, but I'm hoping to start the program up again next year.
How do you fit learning to fly gyroplanes in your day with school?
Well, I always liked to fly. I was a flyer in the Air Force, and when I got out of the Air Force, I flew hang gliders, and that was pretty fun. But I'm getting too old and fat to fly hang gliders anymore, so I wanted to fly something that had an engine on it so I could just climb in and fly. And I've always been interested in gyroplanes. A gyroplane, incidentally, is kind of like a cross between a helicopter and a fixed-wing aircraft. It has a propeller, kind of like a fixed-wing aircraft, that pushes the gyroplane through the air. And it has a rotor like a helicopter, but the rotor is not powered. It's free spinning, kind of like a pinwheel. And it's the motion of the air across the rotor that spins it and creates lift. And so you got to have that motor in back to push you through the air, to spin the rotor and kind of keep you up in the air. And I've been taking lessons at a couple places in California to get my pilot's license in gyroplanes.
That is so cool. We've talked a lot about flying. What drives you to it? You've flown hang gliders, you've flown gyroplanes, you've flown F-111s in England. Like, what makes you want to fly?
I don't know. What makes people want to surf? What makes people want to climb mountains? You find your thing and you do it. And my thing turned out to be flying. Everyone find your thing and and do your thing. And I've always liked to fly. So
his thing is flying.
Yeah, that's right.
You've flown bombers, airplanes, hang gliders, motorcycles, gyroplanes. Is there anything you want to fly or you want to ride but you haven't done yet?
Not really. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that makes up his mind about something and just goes off and does it. I'm getting pretty old too. There isn't a whole lot of time for me to do some new stuff. I think I want to just learn to fly the gyro and get better and better at it. And I'm saving up my nickels and dimes, and hopefully I'll have a little gyro of my own I can keep over at Marine Airport and just go out there and fly anytime I want.
If I recall correctly, you once did a road trip on a motorcycle from one side of America, California, to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
It was a lot of fun. And it was not, there are different kinds of motorcycles. It wasn't like one of these big Honda Goldwings or big Harleys or anything like that. It was just a little 650 BMW, and it really wasn't meant for that kind of trip. And I had the thing loaded up like I was, it's the Beverly Hillbillies or something, with all kinds of all my bedrolls and stuff all tied down on this thing, and I just meandered my way across America from Mountain View to Key West, Florida, and I had little adventures on the way, and I stopped and visited some people that I knew across the country, and it was a lot of fun. But it was also, it wasn't a comfortable ride, let's put it that way. It was, again, it wasn't really designed for that kind of long duration trip, but the discomfort of it just kind of added to the adventure of it. I couldn't stand to go more than 150 miles a day on the thing, so I made a lot of stops and saw a lot of interesting places.
Traveling across America, what did it teach you about America?
Some nice things and frankly, some ugly things too. I went through the South and I saw, that kind of systemic racism firsthand. And I thought, if it was kind of from California, it was kind of shocking. So I kind of saw the good side of America, but I also saw kind of a dark side of America too. And it was sort of enlightening in that way.
On that ride, what was your favorite thing you saw?
Oh, I suppose I saw a lot of interesting things. I'd never seen a rocket launch before, so I stopped at Cape Canaveral, and there's Patrick Air Force Base there where they launched these satellites into space, and at the time the space shuttle was flying. So I happened to be there at the right time to see both the space shuttle launch, and I got to see some Air Force rockets go up, and in kind of a cool way, there's Cocoa Beach that's right south of Patrick Air Force Base, so I just went out in the water, and it was a warm, beautiful day, and I just floated in the ocean and watched a rocket go off. So that was kind of interesting. That was kind of fun.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah, just to float there and kind of chill out, and this big Delta rocket goes. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about your art. You work with neon, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just kind of idiosyncratic, I guess. I do a lot of kind of strange stuff. I developed a kind of a reputation. I don't know how I came to do this, but people seem to like my trilobite nightlights. I have a whole bunch of trilobites are prehistoric creatures. I don't know if you're familiar with them. There's the fossils of them all over the place. They kind of like bug-looking things. And I would cast these trilobites in clear resin, and embedded in the resin is various light sources. Some of them are neon, some of them are LED, some of them are this stuff called electroluminescent wire, and you can just take this thing and just plug it right into your wall socket and it lights up. And so, yeah.
You can have a dinosaur nightlight?
Well, not dinosaur, a trilobite, more like a bug, like a big bug. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them, and I sell them, and I've had them at art shows and stuff like that. And I kind of became typecast as the trilobite guy, which is okay.
That's cool.
So, but I've done other things too. Okay. Well, here's something. I use this with my students, but I built it as a piece of conceptual art. It's called I call it the device of destiny. And it looks like this. And it's really a piece of conceptual art that I made. It's got a radioactive source in there. It's strontium-90, and it's got a little miniature Geiger counter on top of it. And when you turn this thing on, you can program any number you want in there. So I'll program, I don't know, 33. And if I hit the button here, what it does is it takes a random stream of radioactive particles coming off this thing, and it translates it into a number between 1 and 33. Just a random number. But unlike a random number generator, this thing is based on quantum mechanics. First of all, it's absolutely random. It's the randomness of the universe that's making this, not just some algorithm. And then the other thing is, and this is maybe slightly more disturbing, if you know anything about physics and parallel universes and stuff like this, it turns out that anytime you make a quantum measurement, you kind of go down a path through a bunch of parallel universes. So for instance, let's split the universe right now here. I'm going to turn this thing on. And there's also a Schrodinger's cat there that I just put in there for a laugh. So the cat's dead, and you can see him in there. And it's 16, okay? So there was a universe that was created where the number was 1. And there was a universe created where the number was 32.
So it's a pure random by the universe.
But every time there's see, quantum mechanics says that radioactive source is in a superposition of states of having emitted or not emitted a particle. And it turns out that when we make a measurement of that, which effectively what this device does, it sends us along one path through the multiverse. So there are other paths in the multiverse where something else is happening. So you and I are having this conversation in another universe, but with a different number displayed there. So it's kind of a philosophical device. That's the way I look at it. But I just use it to pick kids, to answer a question or something, and then it kind of absolves me of responsibility too, because I can say, well, I didn't pick you. The universe picked you. Physics picked you, not me.
So you use a thing that can split the multiverse.
To
pick kids
and sometimes it's for extra credit, so the kids complain, well, I didn't get picked. Well, in one part of the universe you got, multiverse you got picked, so don't cry about it. There's a version of you somewhere that got picked and got the extra credit.
That's really cool. Okay. Wow. That is...
So actually, the original conception of this was to be like a full-size, almost like an arcade game. And I did a failed Kickstarter to try and make the full-size version. So this I just make sort of a pocket version of it. The full-size version just spends tokens with Schrodinger's cat on them and stuff, but couldn't quite get the funding for that, so this is sort of what I did instead.
This show is called Tasty Treats with Teachers. When I was setting this interview up, I asked you what food you would like. Do you remember what food you told me?
Yeah, I said I wanted some kind of lemon cupcake.
You did. 4 lemon cupcakes.
And so I can take these home and share them with my wife.
Yes,
but
I think we should eat 2 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made these actually last night and the frosting this morning.
Oh, okay.
So we have 4 different cupcakes. We have, I call them Whirlpool, Dragon, Cross, and Splash. And that's because I'm really bad at decorating cupcakes. So go
Well,
ahead.
I want the Whirlpool because it reminds me of a galaxy. And I was just looking at a galaxy last night through my telescope, so this reminds me of that.
All right.
A little spiral galaxy.
I'm going to take the Dragon.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll put these down here. All right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
These are yummy.
Okay. Wow.
Ah, they're my favorite. This is exactly the way I like it.
I'm not usually one for lemon, but these are really good.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask you to rate them on a silly scale, like 9 to 10, but I think we should let the universe decide.
Oh, absolutely.
Out of 10, what
right.
the universe rates these.
The universe. Now remember, don't feel badly because there's a version of the multiverse where you got a 9.
So
right? or 10 or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Let's hope the universe rates me
Okay,
well
so
on
I'm
this.
going to program this. Oops. It's running low on battery, so it kind of gets wonky when it's running low on battery. There we go. So we got 10.
Okay, we got 10.
And I hit. Would you like to hit the button?
gonna hit
It's
the
that
button.
button right there.
What's
that
it
button.
rating?
Yeah. You got to hold it down a
Oh.
little. Yeah. Let go. You got to hit it hard. Well. All right. Let me do it again. Maybe I record.
Yeah.
Again, it's getting the battery's getting low. And it gets a little wonky when the batteries get low. So hold on.
What does the universe deem my cupcakes?
Okay, here we go. So, what's it say?
I got a 4.
You got a 4. Well, like
There's
I said,
a universe out
there's a
there.
universe where you got a 10. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the universe, we know what the universe is. What do you rate my cupcakes?
These are as good as any lemon cupcake I've ever had, so I guess it's a 10, huh? Yeah.
That's high praise to me.
No.
All right, I'm gonna put this back here. While we're munching on these, is there anything I haven't asked you yet that you believe that people should know?
About me? I don't find myself all that interesting of a person, actually. I'm more interested in the things that are exterior to me than interior to me. There's a supernova going off right now. I'm kind of interested in that. It's a new general catalog NGC 4647, and I was looking at it through my telescope last night, and there's a bright star in it. And normally when you look at a galaxy, it's just a fuzzy, spiral thing. It's so far away. This one's about 60 million light years away. But then you see this very bright star in it, and you realize that one star that went supernova is brighter than the rest of the galaxy that it's in.
Wow.
Yeah, and so wow. That's the kind of stuff I like to think about, not reflecting on something, a measly little thing I've done.
That there's a star brighter than the galaxy.
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Widmark, a artist, a pilot, a rocket launcherist, I don't know the word for that. Rocket scientist, physics teacher, and a person that enjoys their breaks.
Yep, I do.
And who changes the fate of the universe by...
Right, yeah, let's do it right now, okay?
Okay.
Okay, folks, you're in this universe, strap yourself in.
We're about to go for a ride.
you're all right. Okay, you're in a new universe.
We're in a new universe.
Congratulations.
New universe. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Widmark.
All right, thank you.